Hey, welcome to the Dripping Stone Podcast, the podcast of two friends. Raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle. Hey, Nick.
Kyle.
What you doing over there, buddy? You want to drink something?
Sure. Sounds good.
Let's do it.
What you want to drink?
I'd like a pour of something.
Okay.
I'd like a pour of something that's going to make me feel a little, a little top notch.
Ooh, I've got just the bottle for you.
Nice.
Yeah. This is the Old Forester
I like it so far.
Statesman.
Nice.
I know. So this is a 95 proof. This whiskey is distilled by us only, and we are responsible for its richness and fine quality. Its elegant flavor is solely due to the original finesse developed with care. There is nothing better in the market. George Garvin Brown, the founder.
Yeah, sure.
So there's not a whole lot to this, not a whole lot to the bottle. It is bottled at 95 proof, but it's their Statesman line.
I like it.
Yeah,
That's a good call.
it is.
That's going to make me feel
top notch.
top notch.
Like a Statesman?
Like a elder statesman?
Well, yeah.
Upper statesman?
Inner Statesman.
Betweener statesman.
That's better, I think. So I've actually had this bottle for a little bit.
Little
Yeah.
bit.
There's, I don't know, maybe a quarter out of this bottle. For no other reason than, I got a lot of bottles.
Indeed you do.
So the Old Forester Statesman is kind of a marketing ploy of sorts.
Correct.
So essentially, this was developed in support of the movie Kingsman, The Golden Circle,
Right.
in which there are characters called statesmen. And statesmen are like the super secret service
Right.
of the United States.
Right.
So obviously, it's a bourbon. I think in Kingsman, they drink scotch. Like the Kingsmen, they are scotch drinkers.
Right.
So this is the drink of the statesman.
Of the American statesman.
Of the American statesman, right. So this is kind of a bit of a marketing ploy.
Sure.
And I'm going to ask you a question about whether or not that shapes your version or shapes your understanding of the liquid in the bottle.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask that later.
Oh, okay. We'll wait.
Okay. Let's get into it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Here we are.
Statesman. Color-wise, brown liquor in a glass.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have arrived.
I dare say we have achieved what we set out to do.
Right.
We've put liquor in a glass.
We have a pour
of brown liquor in a glass.
of whiskey.
Sure. I wouldn't really honestly call it either way. It's middle of the road, kind of just brown.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to swirl in my glass here a little bit.
Yeah. It doesn't look watery. It's holding on pretty good.
Yeah. You talking about the legs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Remember, like, legs are, there's some debate, but legs can be sugar content. Legs can be, really it's just viscosity in general.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say legs are related to age. There's no age statement here, but it's definitely not, it's definitely not like, choo, off the sides here.
Right. And this is like a relatively new release.
Sure.
2017.
Interesting. All right. What you got on the nose?
Dark cherry and caramel.
Like maraschino cherry?
No. Like dark cherry, like a...
What do you mean, like cherry cordial dark?
Like black cherry, like a...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
More like the, what are the cherries that you put in the old fashioned?
Yeah, maraschino. Like a Luxardo cherry.
Luxardo.
There it is.
There it
yeah.
is.
Oh, man.
I'm getting into that really dark cherry.
Carol bought me a jar of Luxardo cherries. I call them the $40 cherries. So good. You pop like two of those, and you're like, that was like $5. No. Man, you go to a bar and they got that big ass can of Luxardo cherries. You're like, y'all paid about $5,000 for that.
Y'all still paying off that loan.
Yeah. I get pine tar. Like, not pine forest. Like not pine leaves, like Christmas tree, not like that, but like
Pine Sol.
Not pine sol. Something like deeper than that. Like there's a deeper like
a sap off of a pine tree.
Exactly. It's like molasses but piney.
Yeah, it's like you're in the fall, you're climbing a pine tree and you grab hold of that one branch, it's like sticky as fuck.
Right. Sure, it happens all the time.
Can you not recall that moment?
No.
I can hit that moment like totally like climbing a tree and you just grab the wrong branch and you're like, fuck. And for the rest of the day,
that
shit's there.
Yeah.
It ain't coming off.
At my elementary school, there were some big pine trees that you just like lean against and you're like, God. And that crappy, like super gritty soap that they had in the schools and you're like trying to rub it off.
Ajax.
Yeah, basically. Stuff sucks.
I think this is just sand. There's no detergent.
There's a place in Lakeland that's the soap that they have there, and like we went out with people that are in a wedding, and their daughter was like, "I love this soap. It makes my hands feel so smooth." I'm like, God, that soap sucks. It reminds me of like 4th grade me, and like, ugh.
Yeah, no, I get that sap.
But there's a really nice sweetness there though too. For me, it's like I'm not getting cherry. I'm getting like pine sap, piney notes, and like caramel. But like,
yeah, I get the caramel. But man, I can't get past like it's like
But like for me, it's like buttered caramel. Like it's
right.
Like almost like a freshness to it.
I can't get past like just like a really dark cherry that's almost like over ripened. Like it's almost starting to like ferment.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously
it's fermented.
It's fermented, but
no, I really
like a boozy cherry.
I like the nose. I really do. I don't know what the mash bill is, but I would be surprised if there wasn't any rye in this. I mean, there's just a little bit of spice there.
All right, mash bill ready?
Hit me.
72% corn.
Okay.
18% rye.
Ooh.
10% malted barley.
There it is. I knew it.
Called it.
I knew it.
Called it, yeah.
It's actually more than I thought was in it, though. I will say that.
That's pretty high.
Yeah. I wouldn't have said 18. I mean, I would have said like, maybe you're squeaking it like 10.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking. Like anything over 10 is considered high rye, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, that,
now that you say it.
I think high rye is that second, third.
Second highest.
It's the second highest grain, right?
Right.
Yep. So in that case, definitely high rye.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the piney notes are coming from.
Could be. Yeah, because it's not like pushing cinnamon.
Yeah, I wouldn't say cinnamon, but I get spicy.
Yeah, I think it's that. I mean, there's so much corn, so that's where you're getting all that caramel sweetness.
Caramel sweetness, right?
And then that rye's popping through. Yeah, I think that's kind of like where it's like blending together to make this cherry note for me.
Yeah. You know what I'm not getting? I'm getting no oak. I'm getting no smoke. I'm getting no barrel. And
true.
Like I normally get that on bourbons.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously aged in new white oak barrels, and I'm not getting any of that.
Right.
So that to me kind of calls into question the age statement, and I just wonder what
young.
are they doing here? Right.
Is it young?
I don't know. I'm sure you could look, but I bet you'd be hard pressed to find like a definitive statement, especially because they're not putting it on the bottle.
Definitive statesman?
Right.
Definitive statement.
Statement. Sure.
Anyway.
Going in.
Pretty great.
It's pretty great. It really is. Ooh, Kentucky Hug.
Nice.
Ooh. Oh, hold on, everybody.
Nice finish.
Ooh.
Still going.
Oh, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little intense.
Is that first sip?
Yeah.
You think it's just first sip?
I think it's first sip. I will say, like, the rye for me is like it's punching through.
Yeah.
And it's making it for sure is making
It's a caramel wave.
Yep.
That when it subsides, this rye spice punches through, and that like elevates it.
It really does.
All the way through.
Because you just get sweet. When the sweet subsides, and I that's what I appreciate it. It's not all commingling. It literally is sweet and then boom rye.
Yeah.
And it just like it. You're right. It elevates. I really like that. It elevates it and it takes it to like this complexity.
Yeah.
And that's what the rye does here.
Man, I don't remember it being this good.
Yeah. And depending on where you are, it can be a slightly difficult bottle to find. I'm seeing more, and maybe it's because it has, it's lost its appeal, maybe because the movie, didn't do well or for whatever reason. I'm definitely seeing more of their like years more than Statesman. I mean, you can definitely find Statesman still, but I'm seeing less Statesman, more of the 1870, the 1920, the things like that.
I mean, it surprises me that if that's legit, like all that the Statesman is that
right.
They're attaching it to these side characters in a 2017 film. Okay.
Right.
Like, interesting. Like, did they only make it for that year and what they made is what they made? Are they still making it?
I honestly don't know. I would dare to say that they made it for the movie and then like realized that they actually had something here, and they could rebrand, I guess, but why? I mean, at this
there's
point,
no need. I mean, you can just, but
unless they're paying royalties for the name Statesman somehow, and eventually they don't want to do that.
Right.
But I guess my question then becomes like, knowing that it's associated with a movie, does it cheapen it?
Well, it just, when so much of like what I find interesting about bourbon is honestly a lot of the times is the story behind it.
Right.
What the process was of making it, who the company is that made it,
right?
What their vision is, like what they decided to make. I feel like all of that kind of history and kind of almost like the provenance of the drink,
sure,
is just adds to that intrigue,
yeah, and
makes the drink better. So to like, ooh, what is Statesman? Why do they call it the Statesman? Oh, it's these characters out of this movie. Okay.
Right.
It just doesn't add anything for me.
But does it detract?
I'd say minimally. But yes, a little bit.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree, but I also know, like, if you just gave me that and I knew nothing about the movie and just, it's called The Statesman, I'd be like, yeah, it's a damn good drink. I'm good with it.
I agree. And that's what I'm saying, though.
Right.
It's like, as a whiskey lover,
yeah,
if you did just hand me this, I'm going to have a conversation with you then. Like, wow, this is really good. What is this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Old Forester Statesman. Oh, interesting. I wonder what, like, I mean, I've had a lot of Old Forester. I wonder why they call this one the Statesman. Oh, well, they were trying to plug in with a movie. Oh, well, that's stupid.
But the liquid's good.
The liquid's great.
Right.
But that's dumb.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? Like, why not just,
Which is really funny considering that, like, the majority of those, kind of provenance stories that you just mentioned are all half bullshit and made up anyway.
Sure.
So it's really interesting. Like, it's marketing and that version of marketing in terms of, like, we're going to tell you that this, this particular liquid in this glass, it might be 5 years old, but it's based on a recipe from the 1870s. And, like, this is America in a bottle.
Right.
Versus like Metallica has a whiskey that's actually doing pretty well from, reviews that I've read. It's like, but the story is Metallica has a whiskey. You know what I mean?
Right.
But liquid
is that blackened?
The blackened, yeah. Which I want to try. It's everywhere.
It's another Dave Pickerel.
But it's a Dave Pickerel thing. So it's going to be good because it's Dave Pickerel. Or at least it's going to have some. It should be good. It's going to be
interesting.
Sure. And I think that was his last thing before he died, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, and I think like the piggyback is Dave Pickerel.
Oh, really?
Because Whistle Pig, in and of itself, is Dave Pickerel.
Oh.
Not like he personally did it, but like they hired him to start the company.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, he did Whistle Pig, and then he left and did some other things, and then came back and set up the piggyback.
Right.
But he died before they finished it. So like on the back of the bottle, like there's like the whole like Dave Pickerel, like this is why he made it this way. He wanted it at this proof, which it's a very specific like 94.3 proof, because that's where he felt like it was at its best, and he wanted to make the perfect rye.
Interesting. Maybe it does cheapen it a little bit, but we also continue to come back to what's the liquid.
Sure.
And I'm a fan of the liquid.
The liquid is good?
Yep. What do you got on the mouthfeel? Because for me, that's where, like, if I had to knock it, that's where I would knock it.
I mean, it's not oily. It's not like a thick, oily whiskey that hangs on, but it still clings.
But I think
it's almost like a residue kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think it's because of the rye.
Right.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, this is where a rye to me generally fails, is that it's not, or where what rye does is it tends to create a little bit more of a watery mouthfeel. Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, like the Pikesville is a little bit on the watery side, like even the rare breed rye is a little bit on the watery side. So I would say for me, there's like I like that residue. I want more. Like I want it to be a little more oily. Mm-hmm. I want it to cling a little bit more.
Right. Like I'm really impressed with like, I mean, it's like, you'll take a sip and then it's still
there,
still taste
present.
It.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like a peaty scotch.
Yep.
Of like you take that sip and then that peat hangs with you.
Right.
For like the next hour. Yep. Like it's still on your palate.
Yeah.
This is kind of still doing the same thing of like the rice. I'm attributing it to the rye, but it's just the whiskey's still there. Mm-hmm. Like, and it still hangs.
Well, I get a little bit of that numbness that I usually associate with the rye too. Like just slightly on the edges of my tongue, like just a little bit of like Novocaine. A little numb tongue. Yeah, exactly. All right. So now that we've got a pretty great drink.
Yes, sir.
What you want to talk about?
So last week we were talking about summertime. Yeah. And I realized an error in that conversation that we left off.
No, whoa. We do not make errors.
I realized a misstep.
Okay, I'll go with that.
That we forgot to mention a thing.
What did we forget?
I mean, a quintessential aspect of summer.
Skinny dipping.
Oh. Like, we're not even outside, man.
We could be outside right quick.
Grilling season.
Grilling. Okay.
Grilling.
Grilling?
Grilling. I think of summertime, and I think of it's time to grill some meat.
You're right. Well, I mean, yeah.
It's time to light up the grill.
It 100% is. That's what all the Lowe's commercials are telling me.
Exactly.
Get your grill on right now.
Time to grill.
Absolutely.
Summertime, I think about grilling.
Yeah, me too.
Like, that was a quintessential aspect of, like, summerhood for my entire life, is firing up the grill and grilling some food.
Well, let me ask you this. Would you guys only grill in the quote-unquote summer months?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
But, like, the big family get-togethers.
Right.
Those, when they happen in the summer, it's a grilling thing.
For sure.
You know, at the holidays, it's a casserole jubilation. And, you know, at different times, it's different things. So when you get those big, huge get-togethers in the summer, it's grilling.
We're putting meat on some fire.
We're doing hot dogs, we're doing hamburgers, we're doing steaks.
Yeah.
We're doing pork chops.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing it on the grill.
Sure. I got what you're saying. No one else at home could see what you just did, but I saw.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And I would say, like, that's kind of my experience as well. Although I don't really remember my family grilling often.
Okay.
As a kid, I don't remember grilling being a real thing. And I don't know if it's just because, like, I never didn't think about it. Like, we didn't, like, get together as a big family and grill stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember grilling being a thing. Now, as an adult, or like high school me, and as I've become an adult, like, grilling is, I'm like, I love to grill. Like,
Right.
I want to put meat on flame, and that's what I want to do.
Right.
But yeah, not the same experience for me.
Sure.
You know, like,
So it's not essentially tied to summertime.
it is by proxy. Like,
Right.
it is because, like, I know that that's what you do.
Right.
But there was never that familial kind of association. Like, we would never go to, like, a state park, and you like the grills at a state park with, like, 17 years of charcoal in it.
Right.
We would never use that. We
Right.
would never, like, get together and, like, throw meat on a grill that way. But I also know, like, association, grilling is summer.
Right.
Like I said, as I've grown older, summertime, let's grill some shit.
Right.
But man, I'll grill things all year.
Oh yeah.
Especially Florida. Like, it doesn't, rarely does it ever drop below 30 here.
Sure.
So
Even if it
January, let's throw crap on the grill.
Even if it did.
Absolutely.
Like, my dad would sit out there and grill steaks in January.
But I totally get what you're saying about, like, the summer get together.
Yeah.
Grilling.
It's just, 4th of July,
Absolutely.
hamburger and hot dog.
I mean, I hate to say this, and
barbecue
and I
beans.
know, I know Tony's listening, I know my dad's listening, but, like, I remember our hot dog experience was like boiled hot dogs.
Making my mouth water.
I remember my parents at one point, like, got a George Foreman.
Nice.
Like,
Put
yeah,
some grill marks on that dog.
for sure. And I could be, like, just totally whiffing on this, and my dad will probably call me later and be like, we grilled all the
Excuse
time,
me,
right?
sir.
But I don't have that association for whatever reason.
Interesting. Like, I meant to say it in the last episode at some point, but it just never really, like, got in there. Of, like, I think as I've gotten older, my sense of smell is altered. Of, like, and it might just be, like, your youth of how everything stands out.
Right.
But I remember in Alabama, like, when you would mow the grass, it's, like, overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I can mow the grass now, and I can go outside, and it's like, yeah, I can smell it. But it's not like this wave. I can remember whenever my dad would grill, he'd go out there and he'd have a lawn chair.
Right.
Open that sucker up, set it down beside the grill.
It was like that aluminum lawn chair.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
With, like, the shit, like,
It's all tattered.
plastic, woven.
Tattered and like, that's going to fall apart any second.
Any second.
Yeah.
That's not going to hold you. But would grill, and it would just fill up
Yeah.
the neighborhood. And you're like, yeah.
Somebody's grilling.
Grilling.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel like I every once in a while I'll go through, like, I'm out for a run or something, and it's like
Somebody's grilling.
somebody's grilling.
Yeah.
But like, I don't feel like it's like that same intensity.
I get you.
And I don't know if that's just me getting older, so my senses are starting to wear down or something. But like, it's disappointing AF.
You know what? I think it's associations because, like, as an adult, you're like, that person's doing the thing. They've gotten the grill ready. They're probably hanging out outside. You know, whatever. As a kid, you're like, it's time to eat. You know,
I don't
And
disagree, but it's not.
that's
It's
it.
not just the grill. Like it's
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
there's so much more to it. In my mind, when I was younger, I would go out and I would smell the world.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of grilling, what was your family's preferred grilling method? And what I mean by that is, like, you got charcoal, you got propane. I guess you got like smoker type grills.
It was always propane.
Really?
That's all my dad ever did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a really old propane gas grill,
Like
that he'd had
an
forever.
old Weber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that he'd had forever. And our house we had a separate garage. The grill was in the garage, so whenever it was time to grill, like he'd go over there and open up the garage, pull out the grill,
Right.
and there was like the grilling station was there.
Sure.
So yeah, it was always propane. We never did charcoal. We never did a smoker
Real
or anything
wood,
like that I
no
can think of.
smoker. Right.
I think he started like I remember as like as I got older before I graduated, he was starting to like experiment with like wood chips and stuff like that,
Sure.
and like adding that in there to like
He's getting
whenever
dangerous.
he would do chicken and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, I told you,
boiled hot dogs.
boiled hot dogs. I don't really have that association.
You ever microwave them and they just explode?
Yeah.
They get
I did
those
that in
blisters.
college. Like, I need a hot dog now.
Yeah,
30 seconds.
30 seconds now. Get on my mouth. Oh, that was hot. Ah.
For sure. We've all been there. I would say, like, in the small amount of times I remember, like, grilling in high school. My dad lived in Virginia, and we'd go up to see him in Virginia. It was always like charcoal.
Okay.
I don't remember propane at all. And now as an adult, I prefer the taste of charcoal, like a charcoal grill something.
Sure.
But I'm not willing to make a charcoal grill fire to cook my steak for 5 minutes or
Right.
whatever it is.
Right.
And like, that's my problem.
I know.
So the convenience of propane, I'm Hank Hilling it all the way, man.
Right.
Give me that propane, God's
Fire it
gas.
up. Yeah. Fire it up.
Fire it up. Get that thing ripping hot.
Yeah.
Put my steak
Slap
on
it on
there.
there.
Yeah. I mean, my general kind of go-to is if I'm doing a ribeye, you get about inch and a half thick ribeye. 4 minutes on one side, maybe 4.5 on the other, maybe 5, depending on what you're doing.
Right.
Take a look at that, see how it feels. Man, I want it medium rare, and that's what I want. With a charcoal fire, I mean, you got 20 minutes to wait, then you got to kind of feel
then
your way around it.
Like you ever made that mistake
Oh.
of you're impatient,
Oh, yeah. You throw it on
throw
there,
that on there too soon,
and it's like just lighter fluid.
tastes like lighter fluid,
And you're like, good. Fuck. Yeah. you done messed up.
messed up, Ron. Did that entirely too many times. Like when I moved off and I got my own grill, the charcoal grill was like way too couldn't get over the price difference.
Right.
Like, oh, I can get a charcoal grill and some charcoal for less than $100.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
And yeah, like totally like just didn't plan that aspect of it. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, well, when you're ready to eat, about 20 minutes ahead of time, you need to go light up that charcoal,
Yeah.
get it going, let it burn down. Because if you don't, your food's going to taste like shit.
It's inedible. Yeah, for sure. And there's an art form to like creating a good charcoal briquette fire.
Yeah, totally.
Like there really, really is. And like the dudes that are cooking like, a whole pit smoked barbecue, like that is an art.
Oh, yeah.
Because like to get coals the right way, to get coals like, in the right spots and get it all even, man, even in like a small like Weber kettle grill. Like,
right. Like
dude,
that was,
that's legit.
you ever saw those commercials for that masterclass stuff? Like that was the one
Oh, with Aaron Franklin?
that I watched that I was just like, oh man.
Yeah.
I bet that's fascinating.
Yeah.
To watch like an actual class
Yeah.
of a dude that knows his shit
Yep.
explain how he does it. Like I bet that would be fascinating.
Yeah, I wanted to do it, but I also know James told me that basically you can watch the same thing on YouTube and just watch Aaron Franklin like cook.
Right.
And like it's essentially the same thing. Like some of those masterclass, like these people don't talk about the thing they do
Right.
except in that. But Aaron Franklin's done enough where like
It's out there.
yeah. And
Right.
there's actually a show on Netflix that is like I think it's called Chef's Table Barbecue. I could be wrong on that, but it goes through like, these are what these pit masters do. And like, this is how they do it. And there's a lady on there who's like in her 90s and like just does it by feel. Like she can like put her hand on the like the grill cover and like, nah, it needs to get up to temp a little bit more before we throw this on.
Right.
And that's amazing. You can't, how do you teach that?
Right.
You know? But convenience of propane, you can't beat it.
No, you really can't. You lose some flavor, but you save a lot of time.
You do. But I think like if you get good meat, and there's something there's something to be said for like, and you can go to Walmart and buy your $5 steak. Hell, I know that there's
you can
go
cook
to
that in the
Dollar Tree. Sure. I know that like the Dollar Tree market sells steak. I can't imagine it's delicious steak, but I know they sell steak.
I'd hate to look at that cow.
Not not that I've had that steak.
It was humane to kill it. Let's just say that.
But like, if you want a good steak or if you want good meat, like pay for it. Like do the thing, and it's gonna pay you back in spades.
Have you done a smoker?
I have not.
No.
Primarily because, time.
Right.
Like I would love to get a smoker. I know friend of the show, James, man, that dude can make a brisket. Let me tell you. And we've done some aged stuff, and he's aged some briskets. He's made some briskets and pulled pork. The dude has mastered the art of the smoker. Mm-hmm. I think he has a pellet smoker, and I want one, but like, do I want to invest 16 hours?
Right.
Like honestly, today, as we're recording, which is a couple of weeks ago, as you're hearing this, he made a brisket, and we had it for lunch, and it was delicious.
Nice.
But I'd like to get in it. But when you have someone that's a friend that knows how to do it,
right,
it's almost like I'll just let that person do his thing.
I don't.
You know what I mean? Or like, even if you got a good restaurant near you that like does it, let them do it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, reward them
for sure.
Like I've got a cousin that anytime we're up in Alabama, he'll smoke a shoulder or something, and yeah, it's just like I know I'll get it up there.
Yeah.
So like, would I really do it that often to make it worth it?
To some degree, it's like your mom makes a banana pudding, and you could literally follow the recipe to a T. It's not gonna be good as your mom's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's your mom's.
Right, exactly. So if you got a friend who's doing it, or a family member, or a place that you just really like their barbecue, let
them do their thing.
Sure. So what is your grilling go-to? If you in the Drep household,
sure,
you guys are gonna be grilling some meat. What are you guys doing?
I think we definitely do the basics.
Sure,
we do hamburgers because for whatever reason, my kids love grilled hamburgers. Like if I cook them, on the grill, they will destroy them. Mm-hmm. If we get them anywhere else, they won't touch it.
Are you guys making you're making the patty, or are you like buying patties already made? Or doesn't matter? Honestly,
either or.
Yeah,
if I pat them out, whatever.
Yeah,
they will eat it for whatever reason, but they won't.
That's really interesting.
If they get a burger at a restaurant and stuff like that, they'll nibble on it, but they just don't like it.
Huh?
But if I think it's just like either the immediacy of it or the bare essentials of it.
Sure.
Of like they
fix
it the way that they want it.
Right.
Okay.
I see.
Where it's not coming with other stuff. I don't know.
I don't have to pick off the lettuce and all the crap I don't like. I just throw some ketchup on it and call it a day.
For sure.
Yeah, I get it.
But for the wife and I, it's definitely steak. Like we will go find the thickest piece of meat that they've got at the market.
You go.
My wife prefers the filet.
Okay, I was gonna say what cut?
She'd rather have filet mignon, but we'll go for a porterhouse, or we'll go for a.
You splitting a porterhouse? Or you're gonna?
No, we'll split it.
Okay,
we'll split it. But it's just easier that way. Sure. I would eat the whole thing.
You get the tenderloin and the ribeye.
Right.
Or tenderloin and the filet. I mean,
right.
I think that's right.
We'll do that a lot of times. We'll get the T-bone, and I'll give her the filet. I'll have the sirloin. Either way.
Right.
I've gotten to the point where I kind of prefer a bit of a dry rub.
Okay.
And then I'll splash it with Worcestershire while it's on the grill.
Oh yeah.
But
good call.
Yeah. But that's our go-to. For a long time our go-to was lamb.
Ooh.
We do a lot of lamb chops on the grill.
Yeah. Lamb's a little bit harder to find now though.
I feel like we just kind of burned ourselves out on it.
Gotcha.
We were literally having it like once a week there for a while.
Wow.
Like when the kids were young. And then for a long time there, we'd grill corn.
Oh, dude. Grilled
But you
corn.
still can't beat that.
Grilled corn's
Like
the
that's
best.
summer.
Yeah. Summer grilled corn.
Yeah.
You ever done that Mexican street corn?
I've had it. I haven't tried. I haven't
dude.
made it.
You can make it yourself, and it's still delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's fucking mayonnaise on corn. What's wrong with that?
What's not to like?
Fat on corn and cheese.
Dukes.
Yeah.
Some corny dukes.
Little corny dukes. That was my nickname in college. You do know that, right? Like that was junior year. It was that period between like spring break and summer break. Corny Dukes.
You probably got the name on spring break, and you used the nickname up until summer break. Corny Dukes.
I actually used it through the summer, but no one else called me that. I would introduce myself as Corny Dukes.
I got you.
Yeah, but no one else. Everyone's like, this guy.
Did you say corny dukes?
Yeah. that was the
what
inherent
ended it.
problem.
That's
That's
what
exactly
ended it,
it.
yeah.
And then it became a joke, and I was like, I'm done.
I gotta get
My
out of
pride cannot handle that.
Right.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Right.
I know I said like a little bit of kind of my experience, but my general go-to, like I said, ribeye, salt and pepper. I want to taste the meat. Like that's what I want.
Sure.
I'm going to get it on a rip-roaring fire that's as hot as I can get it, just kind of cook it slightly. My wife, though, prefers a filet. Like if we're going out, she's going to want the filet. I don't like the filet because there's not a lot of fat there.
I don't disagree.
And fat is flavor.
I don't disagree.
So I'd rather the ribeye.
Yep.
I know it's not as good for you, but I want
Give me
that.
that gristle.
I want a good marbling in there, and
Yeah.
I want that flavor.
Yeah.
I love a good double cut or double thick pork chop. I love a grilled
How do you
pork
cook
chop.
it?
Okay, so the story is my wife detests pork chops.
Mine too.
Like she hates pork chops. And I didn't realize this. It comes from her family making like tiny little pork chops in barbecue sauce, and that's what they do. I'm not a fan of that.
Cardboard.
Basically. And pork dries out quick, especially like a pork chop. So here's my go-to. Marinate the pork chops. I think a marinated pork chop is essential, even if you're doing like a brine, because you got to get some liquid into that meat because pork is just generally dry on the grill.
Right.
So I like a mojo marinade or something like that. You leave that thing in there for 24, 48 hours. Let that just soak in there. Throw it on the grill. Get your grill as hot as you can. Throw it on the grill like maybe 6-7 minutes on each side. And then if you got a top rack or you can move it offset heat, move it over, let it sit for another 5-7-ish minutes, flip it over, do the same. And basically what you're doing is you're getting good grill marks on it and you're getting kind of like a nice crust. You're letting it essentially kind of bake off to the side, if you will. Throw it on again, depending on your cut. Throw it on the grill again just to get you that really good, nice char and heat. And then you're good to go. To get it to like maybe a medium, and then let it rest a minute, and then it's perfect. But it depends on the thickness. Like steaks, you can kind of eyeball a little bit and just do it by feel. But with a pork chop, man, it really just depends on thickness.
We were watching Gordon Ramsay's. It was like 100 recipes that everyone should know, kind of a thing.
Was that on Hulu?
I think we watched it on Netflix.
Okay.
It might be on Hulu though, or it might have been on Prime. I don't know.
Okay.
That's the 3 we got, and Disney Plus, but it wasn't on Disney Plus.
No. But he is on Disney Plus. Uncharted.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dude's everywhere.
Because it's
And he's only an asshole for like
because it's Nat
none
Geo.
of it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we watched that, and we got into it so much because like it's simple.
Yeah.
And he shows it, does the whole thing. It's not too complicated, but it looks amazing.
Yeah.
My wife got into it so much that she bought the cookbook that goes along with the show.
Okay.
So brought it home, and like one of the first things we did out of it were his pork chops that he makes with a red pepper relish.
Ooh.
And we're talking like thick pork chops.
Right.
That he says, no, cook it to medium.
Yep.
And be done.
Yep.
Eat it at medium.
Yep.
He's like, the whole 1980s cook your pork chops to being well done, that's gone. That's done. Like we're past that now. Cook it to medium. That's where you want it. And that's what's gotten Maria to switch over to like enjoying pork chops now.
Right.
Because like same way, like the way my family did it was a super thin ass pork chop.
Little pork chops, right?
You'd
leather. Just cook it to leather.
You'd let them soak in Italian
dressing, right?
And
if it's not
pull 'em
barbecue
out.
sauce, it's Italian dressing.
Throw them on the grill.
Yeah.
Dry them, fucking eating leather.
Yep.
But yeah, no. We've gotten on that. We've made that 4 or 5 times now.
Delicious.
Damn.
Man, I love that.
So good.
I love that with like, I love asparagus. I love grilled veggies. Dude,
Yes.
grilled veggies.
That's the way to cook vegetables.
That's a way to cook vegetables. Open fire, grilled veggies, whatever. Throw some asparagus on there.
Burn them up, man.
Yeah. Like, give me that little char edge.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I've thrown a pizza on the grill. You ever grilled a pizza?
I haven't, but I've seen it, and it looks pretty great.
Like, it takes some trial and error. Like, even if you watch someone do it or, like, watch a video or something on it, like, it takes a little bit of trial and error because you got to figure out what you like. But, man, just go to a store. Grab a pizza dough.
Right.
You can make your own, sure. Grab pizza dough. You throw it on the grill. Get one side nice and like a little bit of grill marks. That's the side you're going to put all your ingredients on.
Right.
And then flip it over. You got your side with the grill marks on. Build your pizza on that. Put it on the grill. Let that bottom get nice and toasty. And then if you can do that offset, if your grill's big enough, you can do the offset heat, dude. Let that bake, man. It's so good. I love a grilled pizza.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing like a stone-fired pizza to me or like a charcoal-fired pizza, but like it's pretty close.
Right.
Throw it on your grill and good to go.
I think my best experiment that I had within like the past year was grilling up some fish
Ooh.
to make fish tacos.
Yeah.
I think we did it with catfish.
Okay.
Took catfish, put it on there, couple minutes.
Yep.
On each side, like maybe 3 minutes each side.
Oil it up a little bit.
Splash
Yep.
some oil on the fish first. Yeah.
Yep.
Throw them on there.
Man, I'm getting hungry.
And you got the tortillas over on the side.
Yeah.
Toasting them up.
Stacking them up, toasting them up. Ooh.
Damn.
I can say like
They were pretty great.
I am not. I'm good with like shrimp on the grill. Like I am not really great with cooking fish on the grill because I almost want to overcook it, and like it just starts to fall apart. Especially like a flaky fish. Like
Sure.
Salmon, I'm okay with.
Right.
But like a flaky fish, like a white fish, or even throwing like tilapia, man, I'm not good with that. But I love it.
But I think certain white fish, it's thick enough that you can even go. You can go 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Get it nice and kind of charred on that one side
So
so
it
it'll all hold
removes-
together.
yeah, yeah.
And then just plop.
Yep. And just give it a little bit of a char on one side, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I love grilling.
Me
Go
too.
light up the grill.
Yeah. Right now.
Yeah.
You ready?
Okay.
All right, let's go. What you want to grill?
Sausages.
All right, so I got a question. What is your best grilling experience? Like, this is the grilling experience for you. I mean, that could be like you grilling or like you being made something by someone.
Sure.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, I'll say this.
Yeah.
One of my I would say easily top 3 was that steak you made when we were camping.
Yeah.
That was delicious. That's one of the biggest steaks I've ever had in my life. Second to that though is my wife and I. We went to Atlanta one time to see her sister. Weird set of circumstances, but we ended up at this house party. Super rich people.
Wow.
It was like really nice mansion.
Sure.
And they were grilling, lobster.
Damn.
And corn, and then they had a bunch of sides and stuff like that. And that one sticks out as
Wow.
a grilling experience.
Sure.
Watching them, because it was a bit of a presentation too, of just what was going on.
Right.
That was pretty cool. That one definitely sticks out of a grilling experience.
Yeah. So for me, it's kind of similar as the same one to you, but my first experience of doing that, that steak over oak fire, camping out in the woods was with a friend of the show, Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of recreated that for you essentially.
Right.
And very similar, went to the same place, went to the same store, grabbed the same kind of steak.
Right.
And there is nothing that compares to throwing a big ass hunk of meat over or oak wood from the woods and made a fire.
Right.
And I think it's atmosphere, it's setting, it's just perfect.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was that steak. And I almost it's trying to recreate that. And I think when you and I did camping and we went and we did our camping episode, I was able to capture lightning in a bottle again.
Right.
Because it was perfect.
Yeah, it was nailed.
I mean, it's just the right cut, the right size, and just boom, perfect.
Indeed.
I would say like one of my best steak experiences is a restaurant here in Tampa called Burns. And like it's expensive and it's like over the top and just a lot, but it's such a good steak.
Was that an anniversary?
It was, yeah. A couple. We've actually done it for 2 anniversaries, and it's just like, it's a great steak. Like I said, it's over the top. You get dressed up. You do the whole nine,
Sure.
but it's good and it's worth it.
Right.
What about your worst grilling experience?
I've definitely been to a lot of different parties.
Sure.
Where the grilling expertise was lacking.
Minimal, right?
Lacking. Where like hot dogs were like just charcoal sticks and stuff like that. Personally, though, there's definitely been some times where it was like I had some charcoal burning and I let it die down too much. I didn't get to it quick enough, and I felt like I needed to throw a few briquettes onto it.
And you just get
oh God, just at that point in time,
lighter
just
fluid
give
taste.
up,
Yep.
take it inside, throw it in the pan,
Yep.
and finish cooking it. Don't throw the extra briquettes because you're gonna get just nasty food.
Yeah.
And like that like clearly sticks out. Like I did that a few times for sure.
Yeah.
Just got a whole mouthful of lighter fluid.
I mean, even here recently, with as much grilling as I've done, like occasionally I like undercook something and like, okay,
Let me go throw this back out.
yeah, it's gonna go back on for a minute, or like God forbid, like we're just hungry, throw it in the microwave for about a minute and a half, and like we'll call it a day and just move on.
Close enough.
But yeah, but I know because this was actually relatively recently. Threw a steak on the grill, just over seasoned it to like just no end, and like Carol and I are eating it. She's like, "Well, this is salty." I'm like, "Yep."
Yes, it is.
So like, mainly it's like undercooking something or over salting.
Right.
Like it's kind of hard to over pepper for me anyway, but like just over salting it, you're like, yeah, you just
Can I have some more water?
I mean, even to the point of like, you want me to go rinse it off?
Should I
You want me to go rinse
scrape off some of this?
You want me to go rinse off your steak?
Yeah, just rinse it
No,
off.
no, I'm fine. We're both
Shake it off on your potato.
sure. We're both like, it was pretty bad. And I mean, and I think I'm fairly proficient with a grill.
Yeah.
Just kind of timing things and just, sometimes you just totally
happens.
with it. Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. You got anything else?
I want to go grill something.
Let's
hungry
go right
now.
now. What you want to grill?
What do we got?
I got some stuff. We can figure it out.
Got a couple.
Sure. So we'd love to know what your experience with a grill is. Like, what is your kind of idea of grilling out? Like, what does that mean to you? Because we've kind of like touched on it slightly, but it might be regional. It might be family specific.
Yeah. And like, does it conjure memories? Or is it just kind of more something that you're just getting into now?
And what are your grilling go-tos? Like, if you are someone who kind of knows your way around a grill, what are you doing? Like, how are you grilling? Give us some recipes. I'd love to know.
Totally. For sure. Yeah. Keep them simple. But yeah, totally.
Meat, flame, fire.
Yeah. Gets
Good.
too complicated. I'm like, oh boy.
I got to
But
do
anyway.
what now?
Also, what do you guys think about the Statesman?
Ooh.
Old Forester.
For sure. Does it cheapen it at all that it's part of a movie kind of sale? Or are you literally like us and like it's the liquid
I
in the
just
glass?
like the juice.
You can get in touch with us through email. It's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always one word, Drep and Stone, DREP and Stone. Find us, like us. We like you right back. And let us know what you're grilling.
You can help support the podcast in one of 3 ways. You can literally shout it out. Tell someone that you like the podcast. You can help support us financially through our Buy Me a Coffee page. It's buymeacoffee.com/drepandstone. And you can rate us wherever it is you find the podcast.
Yeah. Throw a star, throw a thumb. at
Way
us.
up.
Yeah. As up as they go.
That's what I always say. Hey, buddy. May your glass overflow.
And your ass never show. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Are you 21 or older?
If I say no, are you still going to let me on your website? Yes. Sounds kinky. And there we are.
Nothing if not consistent. You're welcome. Did you say Googs?
Gigs.
Googs. What's the
What you
goggles?
got from a gigs?
Banana peel.
What is that?
Going in?
Going in,
Going in. You had to be there.
apparently. And I wasn't.
Gotta take that out. And Kyle's cut off.
Man. I watched that motherfucker drink a gallon of milk the other day.
Everyone's got asbestos lung, but Billy's still standing.
I'd hate to look at that cow. It's always one drip. Numb tongue.
I got high proof peanuts.
I proof. Damn.
Oh, Ric Flair, because I'm like, woo! Good call. Yeah.